special edition. Eliminated teams tiers.
Love it.
28 teams.
Love it.
Now,
So this is kind of projecting for next season?
Rich Tapestry, Brew.
Yeah,
It's a
kinda
lot
currently-
going on here.
I think so.
It's a little projection, a little, oh, you just got a coach.
I like that.
A little, all of the above. Bottom of the tiers, 28 teams. Arch watch. Again,
Already.
I know the Dolphins, the Browns, the Cardinals, and the Jets go into next year without a quarterback and don't think they're going to be able to draft one with their pick this year. So they're on Arch watch. It is what it is. And that assumes Kyler's gone because Kyler's gone. It assumes Tua's gone because Tua's gone. And sorry, Brew, I don't think Shador's going to be the guy. We'll see. And the Jets literally don't have a guy. So,
Yep.
Arch watch.
Tough one.
Not at the floor. Saints, Titans, Steelers. So, I think these three teams the Saints and Titans, let me start with them, have an opportunity to potentially build on what they did at the end of last year. The Titans, Cam was playing his best. The Saints, Tyler Shuck was starting to play decent. You saw them building certain things. The Steelers, on the other hand, are in a different boat where they won the division, got to the playoffs, but now they're going to be without Mike Tomlin. And those teams, I don't think any of those teams are going to bottom out and be on, first overall pick watch. Mm-hmm. But I also don't think any of those teams are realistically next season going to be playoff teams. Whatever. I don't know what to say about these four teams. It's very, very. The Falcons, Stefanski still doesn't have a quarterback. The Vikings. If I were the Vikings,
yes.
I would maybe. What
I
am
like
I
it
going to
already.
say? I don't think you know what I'm going to say. I'd call the Bills and be like, hey, what do you want to give us for Kevin O'Connell?
Oh.
You want to give us a first and a third round pick for Kevin O'Connell? Because we
like that.
We need some draft capital because we still don't have the quarterback. What do you think I was going to say?
Justin Jefferson.
No, I want to keep Justin.
Wow.
I want to keep Hall of Fame players in their prime. I typically want to keep them, but and if you're the Bills, I don't know what you're doing. Regardless, Panthers, you made a playoff game, and I'm proud of you for it. I don't think that team's all of a sudden poised. And the Colts went all in on the end of this year. Their quarterback popped his Achilles. They traded their first-round pick for Sauce Gardner. Just are where they are. I can't quit one of these teams. Maybe. Just maybe, Raiders Giants. Raiders number 1 overall pick, and a new head coach. Maybe, and maybe it's
Lamar.
And maybe you trade the number 1 pick and Max Crosby for Lamar. The Giants are going to be everybody's worst of first team. Everybody's calling it right now. They're going to be the worst of first team. I like John Harbaugh. I like that press conference. I didn't so much like Joe Shane being like, me reporting to Harbaugh, it's just words on paper. Like, yeah, bro, but it's the paper is the contract and the words are the office flowchart, pal. But still, I like Harbaugh going there. I hate to do this to these two coaches. Sorry, coach, because I like them both. But they do start the year on the hot seat. Todd Bowles in Tampa and Dan Quinn in Washington.
Already?
I think, Todd.
Quinn seems.
Again, Quinn, I don't think they have to get back to the conference championship game, but they can't have a disaster year. You can't have back-to-back disaster years with Jaden Daniels. I don't think he would survive that. And Todd Bowles probably has the hottest seat of any returning coach because it felt like this year they collapsed at the end and they just have been, consistently fine since Bowles has taken over. They'd won the division a bunch of years in a row and they collapsed this year. More of the same. Bengals, Cowboys. Listen, the offenses are going to be really good. The defenses are going to be mediocre. Again, we'll see what the offseason plays out. It's January, so they haven't had an opportunity to change a lot. But my gut tells me it's going to be more of the same of what these two teams have been. They didn't make any major. Cowboys changed in defensive coordinator, so that could change things. The Bengals just running it all back. Sorry, Danny. Tough quarterback conversations. Because, listen, C.J. Stroud, I don't think he's getting a contract extension, but he is going to be the Texans quarterback next year. Justin Herbert is obviously the Chargers quarterback for the foreseeable future. but there has been a lot of resources poured into these teams because they feel like they can win right now, and the defenses for both these teams are like, we can win right now. And CJ's just had down years. Justin's obviously just had brutal playoff games, but it is an odd spot where the faces of your franchises this year in the playoffs for both of them were the impediment to your franchise moving forward.
Yeah, okay.
Did they peak? Eagles-Niners. Now, the Eagles, if they did, at least you won a Super Bowl out of it, so there's no shame in that whatsoever. But the Eagles feel like we're in contention every year. But is the second half of the 2020s going to be nearly as kind to these two teams who were kind of the dominant teams of the conference?
Right.
Or is it going to be as good as the first half of the 2020s? My gut tells me no. My gut tells me the Niners going to 4 NFC championship games, 2 Super Bowls, being that close. As much respect as I have for Shanahan, I don't think they're going to be able to duplicate that. And I think the Eagles are on the downward slope. Hope for health, Lions, Packers. Right or wrong, both of these teams feel like this year got ruined by injury. The Lions once again dealt with the defensive injuries, not quite to the same extent as last year. Obviously, the coordinator changes. The Packers legitimately they were 9-3-1, and then Micah goes down. Speaking of health, get healthy, Patrick. Don't know what to do with the Chiefs. Don't know where we can put the Chiefs until we know when is Patrick Mahomes coming back. If Patrick Mahomes is coming back in week 1, and they bring back Eric Bieniemy, which they did, and they have a top 10 overall pick, this team can be right back where their right place, atop the AFC, obviously. If Patrick Mahomes back in week 6 or 7, things change entirely. The B in SBOB. We always say it's not Super Bowl or bust. What is bust? Well, it was, because the bust was fired the coach. And for the first time in 50 years in the NFL, a team with an MVP quarterback in their 30s just outright fired their longtime head coach because they felt like the team needed that type of change. And last but not least, KW, you should like this. Atop the eliminated tiers, the Bears and the Jags. Nothing but great vibes. These two teams go into the offseason feeling exceptional. We got the quarterback right. We got the coach right. We overachieved this season. Both seasons ended on, I'd love that back interceptions by the quarterback, but the quarterbacks themselves are like, this was my best year of my career by far. Obviously, Caleb's career much shorter. And they go into this offseason feeling for the Bears, got some money to spend, for the Jags, getting Travis Hunter back, year 2 under a coach. Those are the offseason tiers, coach.
Yeah, those are certainly tiers. Those are certainly teams. First off, the hottest seat is not Bowles. It's Nick Sirianni. Let's be serious here. Not saying that those aren't hot seats. And I do agree with Dan Quinn, especially with some of the hirings that they just made right now, and some of the personnel. I mean, when you got a great young quarterback like Jayden Daniels, if you don't perform, you're out of there. And we'll see how their offensive coordinating hire lands. Why would the Vikings? I don't want to give up an MVP or a Hall of Famer in his prime in Justin Jefferson, but you'll trade your elite offensive head coach? Do you hear yourself? Kevin O'Connell, if he's as great as you believe him to be, will be your coach for like the next 20 years. What are you talking about right now? What magical universe are we living in right now? Like, are we serious? What are we doing? What are we doing? And there's no tough quarterback conversations around Justin Herbert. The delusion around that bringing Bieniemy to the Chiefs is going to have a bigger impact for the Chiefs than bringing in Mike McDaniel to the Chargers. Y'all know that Andy Reid is the actual offensive coach there, right? You understand that. It's Andy Reid's offense. We understand that. We understand that. Or do we want to just make things up? We want to continue to live in fantasy land. You go do that. You go do that. And then the whole thing about the 49ers and the Eagles, did they peak? The Eagles have built two completely different Super Bowl rosters in the last 9 years or so. What are you talking about? What are you... They're on the decline now? What are you talking about? They built two completely different Super Bowl winning rosters with two completely different Super Bowl winning coaching staffs and quarterbacks. And they're now going to be on the decline. Kyle Shanahan is a brilliant offensive coach. This 49ers team is getting older. It's going to need to be reworked. But they're suddenly not going to be able to put this team in positions to succeed. The 49ers are just going to be like, oh, it's done. Never again will we be a top competitive team in the NFL. But by darn dang it, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to just consistently find ways through. Because they're the only team that have shown their ability to keep doing it. Do we hear ourselves? Do we hear ourselves? I mean, seriously. And before you want to jump on me and be like, you're just saying this because you're biased about the Chiefs and you're positive about the... It's like, the Philadelphia Eagles, since Patrick Mahomes got drafted, the Philadelphia Eagles have won 2 Super Bowls. The Chiefs have won 3. And yet one team is magically just going to remain forever at the top while the other team is going to be on the decline. Shanahan, who was able to get 2 completely different quarterbacks to a Super Bowl, is suddenly now peaked and going to be on the decline. The Minnesota Vikings, who have been completely rebuilt and redefined with Kevin O'Connell, they're just going to be like, yeah, we'll trade you. For what? For why? For huh? Like, what are we inventing here? What are we inventing here? And I got news for you. Patrick Mahomes was healthy last year. And he still wasn't better than the Jags. He's saying that if Patrick Mahomes was healthy, they're at the top. And it's like, they weren't better than the Jags. They weren't even better than the Bills. They weren't better than the Eagles. They weren't better than the Chargers. They weren't better than the Texans. Not so sure they were better than the Bears. So, yeah. And listen, I think a lot of these teams are going to be great. It's kind of tough to look at this and just think that the Jags should be moved down. The Chiefs should be moved down. The Packers should be raised up. Like, I'm not going to do any of that right now. Because I think the Bears are going to be great. I think the Jags are going to be great. I think the Bills are going to be great. Well, I don't know about the Bills. I don't know who the heck they're hiring. And same thing with the Ravens. I don't know who they're hiring at coaching. The Eagles, I don't know who they're hiring from coordinating. The Lions, I don't like what they're doing in their offseason moves right now with coaching. Packers, they're losing their defensive coordinator. Want to see what that looks like. The Chiefs, I think, of course, they're going to be competitive. How great? Again, well, that's obviously very dependent on Patrick Mahomes right now. And who they draft in, not just the first round, but every round moving forward. And the Commanders, it's like, they have a really old roster. Dan Quinn hasn't done much defensively. And I'm not a big believer in who they hired from an offensive coordinating standpoint. Do not believe in the Bucs at this point. And everyone keeps talking about which quarterback is coaching dependent or coordinating dependent. That would be Baker Mayfield. So that's the problem that you deal with that. But they do have a lot of pieces, but some of their main pieces are older. The receivers are older. You're going to probably have to start to put a lot on Ibuka's shoulders, which I think he can handle it because I think he's great. But it's just, have to see how that transition looks like. And that transition can be a little weird when you're bringing in another new coach now, offensively. And I think it's impossible to take a look at some of these other bottom teams like the Titans, the Steelers, the Dolphins. There's just so many. Who are you hiring? Who's the quarterback? Like, what? It's all mayhem and chaos. I mean, we know history has shown us that some of these teams will turn around. I'm fascinated to see what the Saints do year 2 with Kellen Moore. I'm not going to do a whole whatever with the Carolina Panthers. I think they were wildly impressive. Shane Steichen is an awesome coach, and so I'm not worried about the Colts. I do think Stefanski's going to make moves with the Atlanta Falcons. And the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, there's a question mark with quarterback. Even if you think JJ McCarthy is great, that's fine, but he can't stay healthy. So I don't even know. Like I don't know what their plan is there. And the Raiders, I don't know how you could have any sense of the Raiders because who's their coach? They're going to have a rookie quarterback. What's that roster construction going to look like? Are they going to move on from a Max Crosby to get more picks to rebuild this team? Like, it's impossible to know what direction are they moving in? What's their plan of attack? What are they looking to do? But again, who's their coach? Who's their quarterback? So I don't know how you could rate the Raiders anywhere. I will say this, going after and getting Lamar Jackson, I'm going to say this right now, and I really firmly believe this, and I really, 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 truly believe this. That would be the dumbest thing ever. That would be the dumbest thing ever. You are in a position to draft a rookie quarterback, a potential superstar quarterback, where you don't have to pay him anything, and you have him in his youth and his prime, where Lamar Jackson, as special and great as he is, he doesn't have as much runway as a young quarterback, and you have to pay him immediately. So you're going to have to trade for him. So you're going to have to give up draft capital, and you have to pay him a massive amount of money. That crushes your franchise. No matter what quarterback you want to use right now, pick your favorite quarterback. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams, whoever, whatever quarterback you want to use. If you have to trade a huge player on your team, like a Max Crosby, a first-round pick, and you got to pay that quarterback $200-something million, that crushes your ability to actually do damage and win with said quarterback. Especially when you don't even know who your coach is. Especially if you don't know, because depending now who's available for hire, that you don't even know if your coach can even be a great head coach in the NFL. It would be delusional thing to do. A delusional thing to do. So, that doesn't make any sense. Again, no matter how special and great you think a quarterback is. So it's not about Lamar. Although I know Lamar Jackson fans will make it about Lamar. It's not about Lamar. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. That is a tough decision to move. If you were just a quarterback away, then I could understand. And if you had the amazing coach, you had an awesome roster, but you just felt, we're just so close, we're just a piece away, sure. Is that the Las Vegas Raiders right now? I don't think so. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Nick's tiers? His special edition for eliminated teams. Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.